To Luke, the 8th chapter. Our babies can head to children's church. We have a great children's church. They can head there and enjoy themselves. Luke 8, the gospel according to Luke, the 8th chapter. We started an almost like an impromptu series last week. We talked a little bit about growing, and it's kind of been on my heart and in my spirit the last few weeks to talk about growth in a very relatable way, a way in which we can understand, a way we can digest. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. Amen. And I think it's our mandate, and I think it's our mission to grow. Amen. Somebody say grow. Grow. Come on, I give you permission to look at the person next and tell them grow. I'm talking to you. Tell them. Come on, we all stay in room to grow. So we're going to discuss growth today. Here's what the word says. This is 8:1. And it came to pass soon afterwards that he went about through cities and villages preaching and bringing the good tidings of the kingdom of God, and with him the 12. And certain women who had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities, Mary that was called Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had gone out, and Joanna the wife of Chuza, Herod's steward, and Susanna, and many others who ministered unto them of their substance. And when a great multitude came together, and they of every city resorted unto him, he spake by a parable. The sower went forth to sow his seed. And as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and as it was trodden underfoot, and the birds of the heaven devoured it. And others fell on the rock, and as soon as it grew, it withered away because it had no moisture. And others fell amidst the thorns, and the thorns grew with it and choked it. And others fell into the good ground. Somebody say good ground. Good ground. Matter of fact, prophesy about yourself and say, I'm good ground. And grew and brought forth fruit 100-fold. And as he said these things, he cried, he that hath ears to hear, let him hear. I want to talk just for a few moments today from this very simple thing, that is, grow from the ground. Grow from the ground. Be seated in the presence of the Lord. The definition of growth is varied. The definition of growth is varied. And I want you to see it, that it's varied. Number one, growth, and it has many definitions, by the way. It has many definitions, but I want you to walk with me through just a couple of them, because you're going to find yourself, I think, in at least one or two of these. The definition for the word growth is this: the process of increasing in physical size. All right? It is also the process of developing or maturing physically, mentally, or spiritually. Here's the last definition. It is the process of increasing in amount, value, or importance. Let's go back from the ground. It is the process of increasing in physical size. Somebody say physical growth. Physical growth. This implies, watch this, that there is tangible proofs of growth. Okay? The second one is the process of developing or maturing physically, mentally, or spiritually. This shows that there are invaluable proofs of growth. All right? Here's the third. The process of increasing in amount, value, or importance. This shows you that there are substantial proofs of growth. Somebody say grow. Grow. Now watch this. Everything about growth says more. Somebody say more. More. Says more. Everything about growth says more. When you grow, there's more. As you grow, you get bigger in size. Yes. As you eat, you get bigger in size. Ask me, I know. Watch this. And so everything about growth says more. Somebody say more. More. Come on, watch this. Although the way you arrive to it doesn't always indicate that there's more coming. The way you arrive at growth doesn't always feel like it's growth. Sometimes it feels like it's the opposite of growth. Right. Let me pause right there. Sometimes the way you are heading to growth, or the road you're going down that is supposed to be growth, the way God told you it was going to be growth. Come on, you got a prophecy it was going to be growth. Everybody telling you you're going to grow. Come on, you're going to get bigger and better and stronger. But the road that you're taking that's supposed to look like growth doesn't look like growth and doesn't feel like growth all the time. As a matter of fact, a lot of times the addition to your life feels like subtraction. It feels like the more God says you're going, who am I talking to in here? Sometimes it feels like the more God says you're going to get, the less you have as you on your way to getting the more he says you're supposed to have. Now, how is it that I'm supposed to have more, but it feels like I'm losing everything in the process? How does it feel like I'm supposed to have more? I'm supposed to be gaining ground. I feel like I'm losing ground. God said I'm going to have more connections. I feel like I'm losing all the connections I had. So how does this more arrive from this place of less? Then somebody say, just grow.
Just grow.
Here it is. Watch this. Let me prove it to you. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. In order for plants to grow, there has to be a time of pruning. You heard me say it all the time. Somebody say prune. You have, if those of you who have green thumbs, I do not have one. But those of you who have green thumbs, you understand that in order to get something to grow properly, it must be pruned. This is what I found out about those who understand a little bit about horticulture, those who understand about growing things from the ground, those that understand how to grow green things. I understand that you can't just prune a plant any kind of way. And you can't use any kind of tool to prune a plant. It takes particular, specific kinds of tools in order to prune a plant. This is one thing I understand. Not only does it have to be sharp, because most of the thing, in order for it to grow, it just needs to be sharp so that you can cut it away. But if it's not the right tool, you're going to do damage to the thing you're trying to grow. You hear what I'm saying? Please understand that the tool not only has to be sharp, it has to be meant to cut away, or for the purpose of cutting away the thing that you're cutting. Here's the thing, it also has to be clean. Because if it's not clean, you're also going to damage the thing you're trying to grow. Are y'all understanding anything I'm saying? Watch this. So here it is. Pruning something is part of the process to growing something that's going to be fruitful, but you got to understand the process of pruning. And that sometimes it's important. Now here, understand this. Nature has a way of bringing pruning to you, and you don't have to necessarily prune all the time. Nature, the seasons help you prune things. This is something interesting I found out. The seasons, I might not get to none of the stuff that I was going to talk about. The seasons help you prune things. You don't have, sometimes when the winds come, when the seasons come, they'll blow away dead things and you don't even have to trim it. Sometimes what God will do is he'll allow certain seasons to come up in your life where you don't even have to prune it. The stuff that's dead will fall off on its own. And you'll be looking around like, where did it go? The season changed in your life and they couldn't handle the wind. And sometimes you think the wind is turbulence, but sometimes the wind is not turbulence. Sometimes the wind is God pushing you in another direction. And so you're being blown into places. Look at somebody say, Lord, just blow on me, just blow on me, just blow. Push me, come on, push me into uncharted territory. Push me into places I wouldn't normally go on my own. Push me into places that I feel like I'm not ready for, but you've been maturing me for the whole time. Come on, Bishop. Somebody say grow. Grow. Come on, look at somebody, tell them grow, grow. Tell them more than once, tell them grow, 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 grow. Some people need to hear it more than one time. They need to hear it several times. Grow, grow, grow. Watch this. Watch this. Paul said it like this. This is how Paul said it. Paul said, Hebrews 5:12 says this. It says, for though by this time you ought to be teachers. Because here's what he said. Now here's what the Amplified said. You ought to be teachers because of the time you have had to learn these truths. In other words, you've been here long enough to know all this stuff. That's what Paul is saying. Watch this. But here it is. But you actually need someone to teach you again the elementary principles of God's word. From the beginning. In other words, he said from the beginning. Teaching the stuff from the beginning. The elementary things. Come on. And you have come to be continually in need of milk, not solid food. In other words, watch this. He says, you need milk and you cannot digest solids yet. Watch this. Because when you should be able to handle revelation and deeper understanding, you can't. In other words, God is trying to show you a deeper revelation of himself, and he's trying to show you a deeper revelation of you. But we can't handle it. Here's why. Because you need someone to tell you the simple things. Somebody say the simple things. Watch this. Verse 13. For everyone who lives on milk doctrinally is inexperienced and unskilled in the word of righteousness, since he is a spiritual infant. Don't be looking at me like that, cross-eyed and everything. That's what Paul said to the Hebrew. Well, to the Hebrew, this a letter he wrote to. Watch this. Paul tells them, this is what he says. This is what he says, then we're going to get into the meat. He says, if you are still on milk, and you shouldn't be, he says you are a baby.
All right.
Watch this. Notice I said, if you're still on milk and you shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
Which means you've been in this thing long enough to know.
Amen.
Watch this. Babies have unique traits. Anybody still got little babies? Little babies? Little babies? Grandbabies. All right, there we go. I forgot what cross with the grandbabies. All right. All right, are you ready? Grandbabies have unique traits. Here they are. They cry all the time. They cry all the time. When they're small babies, they cry all the time. Either they're hungry, or they're sleepy, or they're just upset, or they're just bothered, or they're cranky.
Right.
And you know, my kids, and one of them Ollie had colic, and it was really bad, and she just cried, and we was crying too. We was all crying. She was crying, and we was crying. Watch this. And so they cry all of the time. They cry. And they cry because they can't properly communicate. I'm preaching to y'all ain't catching it. And for some people, the reason why they cry and act the way they do is because they just can't properly communicate. And although we should have learned this stuff already, we still need somebody to teach us this basic principle. Here it is. Watch this. They don't know how to communicate. Here it is. They throw temper tantrums. They throw temper tantrums. You can't have it.
Okay.
You ever seen the kids that fall out in the store? I think I told my kids in the womb, don't you ever think you're gonna fall out in the store. Watch this. They haven't learned to feed themselves, and so they are dependent upon someone else's ability to break it down for them. Here it is. When babies are small, and I did this, maybe this is gross to you, but we did this, and I think most of you have done this. When the baby is small, you take the food, you chew it up, and you give it to them. And the reason why is because they don't have the ability to chew the food themselves. They're at a place where they can digest a little bit more than milk. But they can't chew it themselves. And so they need help. And so, now watch what Paul says. Paul says, you should be in a place where you're able to do this on your own. But I still need to take the food, eat it for you, chew it up, and then give it to you. Come on.
Yes, sir.
Here it is. Watch this. And so, here's verse 13. Verse 14. But solid food is for the spiritually mature. See, some of us have been on milk, but some of us we're bridging. So we're bridging from milk to a little bit more solidity, and so we can handle something that has a little bit more substance to it, but we still can't eat meat yet. Watch this. Whose senses are trained by practice to distinguish between what is morally good and what is evil. So here's what Paul goes on to say, and then we'll wrap it up. Paul says, solid food is for those who are mature, and what makes them mature is they practice morality. In other words, they have a record of standing in character and integrity, which builds them into maturity. Here's the first thing I want to say to you, and I hope you get it, and then we're going to move through this parable really quickly. Maturity is not proclaimed, it's exhibited. Maturity is not something you say. Maturity is something that you display maturity. You don't just tell people you're mature. Come on, they see you're mature because they see you're a responsible adult. If convincing me that you're mature because you have to keep telling me you're mature, and so you got to keep reminding me you're mature. Well, who are you trying to convince, me or you, or both of us? Watch this. Look at somebody tell you, you don't have to tell nobody you're grown, you don't have to tell nobody you're mature. You don't have to tell them, come on. Maturity is exemplified. Maturity is shown. It's shown. It projects through. Come on. It's in your actions. It's in your daily walk. Come on. Let me move to the parable. Watch this. Let me say this as a precursor. Any fruit tree or plant doesn't have to announce what it is. It just grows that way. If it's an apple tree, it just grows apples. If it's an orange tree, it just grows oranges. If it's a lemon tree, it just grows. If you say anything other than lemons, I'm cool. No problem. If it's a lemon tree, it grows. Lemon. Come on, thank you. Come on, so whatever it is, it grows like that. Watch this. I got to show you this because we're going to the parable. I'm going to try to get there. Watch this. Watch this. Seed time, and somebody say seed time, harvest. Anytime you have seed time and harvest, it will always say what it's going to be. If it's an apple tree, it starts as a seed. If you give it time, the harvest is apples. Some of you think this is elementary, but I'm going somewhere. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Give anything time, and it will become what it really is. I just gave you food for life right there. There was a movie that came out that was called Fools Rush In. Watch this. Here's the point. Some of us have run into things and we rush in and we end up looking foolish because we didn't give it time to develop. We didn't give it time to become. We look at the seed. Come on, God. And then we didn't give it time to mature. We didn't give it time to mature. We didn't give it time to grow. And then when it becomes something other than what we thought it was supposed to be, then we mad at everybody. Me, God, you, your mama. But the reality is if you give it time, it always becomes what it really is. For some of us, we're angry because we did things based on what, listen, oh God, yeah, that's good. Thank you, Lord. He said you're welcome. Watch this. Y'all think I'm joking, but I'm serious. Watch this. We did things and so we're angry because we let things become and we jumped in so quickly and then it wasn't what we thought it was supposed to be because we had unrealistic expectations. And not only do we have unrealistic expectations, but some of us had far-reaching, unrealistic expectations. And so are you mad because you had these fairy tale expectations? Oh Lord, why y'all quiet? You assessing all the stuff right now and you're processing. I know. Watch this. Here it is. Look at somebody tell them, give anything time. For some of us, now watch this. For some of us, we're not angry because it became something else other than we thought it was. Some of us are angry because it's not coming as quickly as we want it to come. But we're thinking that we're supposed to skip from seed to harvest, and what you're ignoring is the time aspect. And the reason why things fall flat is because you don't give anything time. Oh, y'all gonna be quiet on me today. I'm almost there. Hold on, we're almost to the parable. Come on, somebody say, give it time. Give it time. And so some of us don't rush in, some of us never go. Because we are skeptical of everything.
There you go.
Oh, Lord. All right. Let me hurry up and get you. Here's what Habakkuk 2 says. Habakkuk 2 says, write the vision and make it plain. So they that read it can run. Where they going? What they going to do? Watch this. To do what they read. Right? They're going to do what they read. Watch this. For the vision is for an appointed time and it shall speak and not lie. So in other words, you have to make time your measuring tool. Right? In the end, it'll speak and not lie. And there'll be nothing that you have to defend. And here's why. Because what you've given time to will come up. And you won't have to defend. You won't have to make excuses for it. Oh Lord, this is good stuff. I don't care if you don't think so or not. So Jesus gives a parable about a sower and the seed that falls on different types of ground. Real fast, Tracy, go to Luke 6 and 43 real fast. Luke 6 and 43 before we get to this parable. I want to show you something that's really interesting. Something that Jesus says. He says, for there is no good tree that bringeth forth corrupt fruit. I want you to see it. Nor again a corrupt tree that bringeth forth good fruit. Now there's a reason why he's saying this. Watch this. Next verse. For each tree is known by its own fruit. For of thorns men do not gather figs, nor of a bramble bush gather they grapes. Now here's the point. The point he's trying to make is it's really not a good tree or a bad tree. The tree is going to produce whatever it is. I want you to see it. Because some of us will say, well, that's not a good tree. Well, it's a good tree, but it's just no. If it's a good tree, it's got good fruit. If it's a bad tree, got stuff going on, you just got to give it time and it's going to develop. Watch this. But he says, every tree is known by its fruit. So when you see the tree coming up, you know what's on the tree. So why are you trying to convince yourself that ain't what you see? Oh, y'all ain't liking this right here. Why are you trying to convince yourself that that's not really what's on the tree? You trying to make it, oh, that's not really what's on the tree. That's not really what I see. No, whatever's on the tree is what it is. Okay, watch this. For each tree is known by its fruit. For thorns men do not gather. In other words, I can't get no figs where there's thorns because ain't no figs near no thorns. I'm just jacking the English language up today. All kind of ebonics and stuff going on. My bad. Watch this. Hey, listen. Let me fix it. There are no figs near any thorns. Watch this. Why? Because figs grow on a tree. Watch this. Nor of a bramble bush do they gather grapes, because grapes grow on a vine. And they don't grow in a bush. So in other words, you're not going to see something good connected to a whole bunch of stuff that's bad. So why are you trying to convince yourself that they mix? And oh no, look how y'all looking at me cross-eyed and everything. Watch this. Some of you looking at stuff and you say, oh, but it looked like grapes, but it's around a whole bunch of thorns. That ain't no grapes, it ain't on the vine. Why are you trying to convince yourself it's something other than that? Did you make me and God and yourself look crazy? I just threw me in there for just good purpose.
There you go.
Let me hurry up and get to these parables for you. Some of y'all walk out because you're mad. Watch this. Luke 8. Are you ready? Let's go. It ain't going to take long. Watch this. Luke 8. When Jesus shows up at the beginning of this parable, before he tells the parable, watch what happens. He shows up with Mary Magdalene, right? He shows up with Susanna, because they're following him, right? Right? He shows up with a few different people, and here's why. Because when he shows up with all the 12 disciples, right? Then Joanna, and he shows up with Susanna. Now he cast 7 devils out of Mary Magdalene. Somebody say proof. Matter of fact, now somebody say fruit. Now watch this. Let's walk through that. And many others who ministered unto them of their substance. Watch this. This is really good. Go back to verse 2. We're just gonna walk the word today. Watch this. And certain women who had been healed of evil spirits and infirmities. Mary that was called Magdalene, from whom 7 demons had gone out. Jesus showed up with the 12 that followed him. Mary Magdalene, who had been delivered from 7 devils. People that have been healed from infirmities and evil spirits. That was walking proof of his ministry. Somebody say fruit. Watch this. Then, next verse, Tracy. 3. Yep. There you go. Sometimes the computer goes slow. And Joanna, the wife of Chuza's Herod Stewart, and Susanna, and many others. Watch this. Who ministered unto them of their substance. Watch this. Watch this. Jesus, when he shows up, not only does he have tangible proofs of his ministry, but the tangible proofs of his ministry, watch this, support his ministry so that his ministry can continue to have tangible proofs. I think I'll clap myself. Some of y'all still don't see it. Let's rewind. Watch this. And Joanna shows up. Mary Magdalene, watch this. And Joanna chooses Herod Stewart, the wife of Herod Stewart, and Susanna and many others who ministered unto them of their substance. What does that mean? What does it mean? How do they minister to them? Come on, we interactive today. Thank you, Tracy, in the back. Could you please give me a graphic or something like that? Because I think they may be scared to say what it was. Do we just go ahead and help them, Tracy? Let's go ahead and say. In other words, what they did is they said, "Oh Jesus, the ministry you have is so amazing. You gotta keep going. And you got these 12 people with you. We gonna break you off some so you can keep moving." See how folks got nervous when we started talking about it? I don't think the Bible say that. Really? That's what it says. Next verse, let's go. Come on, let's go. Go to verse 6. Verse 5. The sower went forth to sow his seed. And as he sowed, some of it fell by the wayside. And it was trodden underfoot, and the birds of the heaven devoured it. Now later on, Jesus goes back to give this explanation of his parable. So let me just skip ahead so we're not here all day and tell you what each part of the parable meant. This is what he says. He says, some seed, now someone before the sow, he just scattered seed. And some of the seed, it actually fell by the wayside, and it was trodden underfoot, and the birds of the heaven devoured it. This is what Jesus come back to say, because the disciples said, "Please, Jesus, tell us what you meant." He says, the sower went out to sow, and the seed that he sown is the word. Watch this. And when the word was sown, it was put in places where, watch this, the fowl of the air came, and this fowl of the air was equated to the enemy who comes to snatch the seed out before it ever takes root. In other words, the word that you're getting right now, the enemy, the devil himself, watch this, will show up in the form of people. You'll break the threshold of the door and you'll leave, and he'll try to show up in the form of a situation you left home, and then it'll hit you in a text message. Come on, it'll hit you with a phone call before you leave. And before you leave, all of this information that you got that's blessing your life, the enemy tries to come in and snatch it before it ever takes root. And for some of us, oh Lord, for some of us, we trying to get it, we're trying to absorb it. Come on, you hear what I'm saying? But the enemy tries to get it before it ever takes root, because he realizes if it ever takes root, there's a possibility it's going to grow something. And so, oh Lord, look at how y'all looking. Look at somebody and tell them, I want this thing to grow in me. I want it to grow. So he said the enemy comes and quickly tries to snatch it from you. Have you ever been in those situations where you get a real good word, and then right after you get it, it seems like something just shows up, and it's almost like, woo! And listen, the power of the air, it comes without notice, and it just sweeps in and it just snatches it. You're not even looking for it, but it just comes out of nowhere and just snatches it and takes it away. Some of us have been in those situations where we get a good word from the Lord, and then right after that, seemingly out of nowhere, people that weren't even tripping with you start tripping with you. Why are you tripping? We weren't even arguing before we got here. Now we arguing on the way home. Why are you tripping? Some of y'all looking like, really? Okay, get married. That's what you have.
She gonna get you.
We was listening to the music in the car. We was having a good time. Come on. The word was fine. The word was good. It was blessing both of us. We was both hallelujah, shouting, running, jumping around the church. We went outside and I forgot to do something, and now you mad for the word. Wait a minute. Why are you so angry? The enemy comes. The enemy shows up in the form of all kinds of ways, all kinds of things. You get a good word today, it's trying to set up root, And then all of a sudden, come on, you find your boss sends you an email, you get a text message, you get to work the next day. Come on, you own your that you heard on Sunday, and it's you going on YouTube and you watching it again.
Yes.
Shameless plug. Watch this. And you look at it again on YouTube. Watch this, and it's blessing you. And then as soon as you get to work, something happens. One of your coworkers, somebody in management, your super, something tries to snatch from you. But God is trying to grow in you. I want you to see it. Sometimes it's not other people. Sometimes you are the reason why it can't grow. Because what's sweeping in to catch it are your own insecurities, your low self-esteem issues, your inability to see yourself beyond where you are comes in and snatches it before it ever takes root. So you convince yourself that you're not the thing that God says you are. Well, who knows better, the creator or the created? You're in the process. He creates the process. Okay, let me move. Watch this. Verse 6. And others fell on the rock. And as soon as it grew, somebody say it withered away. Come on, somebody say it withered away. Why did it wither away? Why did it wither away? It didn't have any nourishment?
No.
Is that what it said? It didn't have any moisture?
No.
Is that what it said?
No.
Watch this. Let me help you. This is what it has to do with it. Watch this.
You couldn't see them.
Here's I like the way this says, because this is good. These are the seeds that fall on people that are enthusiastic initially, but it doesn't go very deep because it doesn't have anything else to feed it. I need you to see it. In other words, you get the word and you hype. Come on, you excited when you get the word. Come on, you understand what I'm saying? You are emotional when you get the word. But you don't allow what was spoken to you to take root. So your emotions become the main thing instead of your spiritual growth. And so now watch this. There's nothing on the inside of you. So when you get some word, it does take a little bit of root. It does just a little bit. But your excitement is just really based off of your excitement and not really based off of your maturity. I want you to see it. Watch this. Watch this. You only hear how God is going to bless you. But you don't hear the part that says you have to submit.
Come on. Well, yes.
I was excited when I heard that God was going to increase me, He was going to bless me, bless my children, bless my marriage, bless my family, give me promotion, but I forgot the part that said I had to be a good steward. So I was excited about the word that He gave me. But watch this, it withered away because it ain't have nothing else going on. And I'm not allowing it to feed me in other places. So I'm emotional, but I'm not growing. Because emotions don't grow you.
That's right. Come on.
Okay, watch this. Watch this. So when life challenges you, you're not prepared to live it. Because you're just emotional. So it takes a little bit of root. It's a little bit. See, you fell on the rock, and as soon as it grew, so it grows, it sprouts up, but watch this, it withers away because it's not sound. Next one, Tracy. This is kind of like when you eat candy all the time. So think about you eat candy all of the time. You don't ever eat anything of any kind of substance. You don't, nothing with any real nutrients in it or anything. Anything. You just eating candy all of the time. Well, it's gonna taste real good until you've eaten so much of it.
Make your stomach hurt.
Some of us would rather have candy though. Next one, Jay. Another fellow missed the thorns. Somebody say, fellow missed the thorns. Watch this. And the thorns grew. Somebody say, with it. And choked it. Lord have mercy. Watch this. Some of the ladies say they fell amongst the weeds. And these are the ones who bear, but even the seed is crowded out and nothing comes of it as they about to they go about living their lives. In other words, these are the ones that go about it, so they're worried about tomorrow. They're worried about living their lives. They're worried about what's going to happen to them. They're worried about making enough money to make it, and stuff like that. So he says, listen, he says, this one fell amongst thorns, and thorns grew with it and choked it out. So in other words, you got a good word, but you mixed it with a whole bunch of worry. Don't some of us do it? Yeah. You get a real good word and then you mix it together with a whole bunch of worry. Yeah. So now you got this seed that's growing, this word that's growing in you, and then you worrying the whole way around it. And so your worry is wrapping around the words you get and it's choking it to death.
Yeah.
Here it is. Watch this. I'm done right here. Watch this. We produce fruit, but the fruit ain't edible. The thorns grew with it and choked it. The reason why we can't get to the fruit is because it's got all these thorns around it. And it's choking it out. Watch this. And not only is it not blessing you, but it can't bless nobody else. Wow. Because it's being choked to death. Go to the next verse, church. Because I like this. But other fell into the good ground and grew and brought forth fruit 100-fold. Somebody say good ground. Good ground. Here's what this means. In verse 15 it says, but that on the good ground that they are, watch this, they have an honest and a good heart, having heard the word, keep it, and bring forth fruit with patience. In other words, they heard the word, they keep it. And then they practice patience. And patience doesn't mean just waiting. Patience means I remain the same until the conclusion of the matter. Yeah. Here's what the Lord said and we're done. The Lord said, I got fruit I'm going to give you. It's going to grow up. You've been planted into. You have to do the part yourself with the watering. Wow. Which means you have to feed yourself. Wow. As it grows up, watch this. You can't worry while the word is, I'm summarizing now. You can't worry while the word is coming up. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You can't just base it off of how you feel and just be emotional about it, because you got to understand that sometimes it's not going to feel good while you're growing. Yeah. But if you take this word that you've been given with a good heart and you remain consistent until the conclusion of the matter, you're going to produce fruit that cannot be denied. And that is the word of the Lord. And I hope you got something from it. Now, everyone stand there.
Wow.
Because see, for some of you in here, you got all kind of word attached to your life. Yeah. All kind of prophecy, all kind of stuff that God has said, all kinds of stuff that people have said from God to you, and it's just brewing. It's just stewing there. You know, we quick to get angry because we like instant stuff. You know. People ain't big about making mashed potatoes like they used to. Right. You know, they take time. You gotta, mash them out and whip them and all that other stuff. You know, we want stuff just poured, boiled on in there and just 4 minutes is mashed potato. No, yeah, instant. And that's how we are. Our lives are instant. Yeah. We want God come quick. It ain't happened by now. What's wrong? Right. Some of us, it ain't happened now. What's wrong with what's been told to me? It must be something wrong with the word I got. Watch this. But the reality is, we have to practice patience. Which means, how consistent are you going to be until the conclusion of the matter? Or are you going to talk yourself out of what God has said for you? How much further could we be in life? How much further along could we be? How much stronger will we be? How much would we have done by now? Have we just exercised patience? And when the Lord, and this is for somebody in here, and I hope you get it, and when the Lord was telling you to quit, or when the Lord was telling you not to quit, but you did it anyway. Or when the Lord was telling you that you needed to quit, but you continued anyway. We're just gonna learn to practice a little patience and be consistent with the Lord, with what the Lord is trying to get us to do and what He's saying. Last but not least, and that in the good ground, those are such as an honest and good heart, having heard the word, hold it fast and bring forth fruit with patience. God said you're going to bring forth fruit if you're just patient. Just be patient. Just be patient. And while you're being patient, exercise principles. I'm going to remain the same. I'm going to be consistent until the conclusion of the matter. But I'm going to exercise good practices. I'm going to exercise the principles that I get in the process. And I'm going to keep doing the work until it comes to pass. Let's pray. Father, in Jesus' name, we thank you. And God, we give you glory and praise. God, we thank you for your people. Thank you for the promises that you've given us with your name. Amen. Father, we thank you now. We hear your voice. And we surrender to your way. Thank you for planting into us good things. Thank you for planting into us good seed that we can produce good fruit in Jesus' name. God, we thank you for it. And amen. Clap your hands and give God praise.